Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your f***ing cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Anything negative, cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase it? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise.
You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Don't mind me. I'm still getting myself situated here. I was in the middle of doing some laundry, and we're running back and forth. Hey, Roth, it says your device is not connected, brother. So what's up, Joe, Bear, GNA? How are you guys? Chico? Let's see. Scrolling on up. Diane, how are you? Miss Arlene? Primal, what's up? Sandra, how are you? Dear Slayer, what's going on? Miss Lakea, good evening. Okay, let me turn on my kid. There he is.
Mr. Hello.
What's going on, Mr. Fairmoon?
Not too much. How about yourself?
Chilling. Enjoying this nice weather for once in New York. So
I know it's gotten kind of nice here too.
Yep, definitely. So I'm just saying what's up to everybody in chat. Yo, what's going on, Bass? How are you? How's your tournament go today?
Laughable, to say the least.
Ooh.
What happened?
Had one on early in the morning, jumped, spit the hook, and it was just a shit show the rest of the day. It wasn't just me, man. 25 boats. No one turned in 5 fish. Winning weight for the $5,000 tournament was just a hair over 11 pounds.
And what did they normally? What's the normal weight limit for winning?
We're on Swinging Bridge.
Yeah,
in the 20s.
Less than you said, less than 11 pounds.
A hair over 11.
Yeah, geez.
It was like 11.12 or some funky number like that.
And that won $5,000.
Yep. I was talking to Storm, and I was like, I looked at him. I said, you know what, bro? I'll bet you 11 pounds wins today. Dude, it was so hot. Everybody was running back and forth. This one dude, I know he probably up and down the marina. I know he put like shit 60 miles on his boat.
Wow. So am I coming in clear? Am I like blotchy, sketchy?
You're coming in
like
clear, yeah.
All right, nice. All right, so Rafi.
Yeah.
Nice. It's great to have you on the show, man. I believe one of my live streams was the first time you ever hopped on, right?
I believe it was, yeah.
So now, for anybody who doesn't know, Rothian's been around in the nation for quite a while now, and this man is very talented. Sorry, I've got little mosquitoes in here and shit. I'm trying not to get bit.
No, I hear there that.
But and the stuff he's damn accurate, and it's going to be a joy to talk to you about this stuff, man. Because I've read a few books, some like about Uri Geller, and I've listened to a few of the old Art Bell podcasts where they've had people on, and I never really got a chance to pick the brain of someone who had disability.
Understood. Yeah. It is one of those things that I think more people have it than they think have it, but it's still one of those things, or either you're either left to the winds or you get picked up by X and Y companies or organizations with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that that happens a lot. Plus the government has their own little research into it. You ever seen that movie, The Men Who Stare at Goats?
Yes, I have seen clips of that movie, but I never really watched it as a whole.
Oh yeah, well, neither have I. Just it's pretty much based on the government's plan to use remote viewers. So,
Right.
if you don't mind, we're gonna dive right into this.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Before you do that, we have a question for chat for you real quick, Rob. Can you explain what remote viewing is?
In the most basic sense, remote viewing is when you are able to make either a window or a portal, or even just have a part of yourself travel to a remote location that is in no way technologically or physically connected to yourself, and view a location, person, place, sometimes even periods in time.
Excuse me. Now, some of these remote viewing is some of this stuff is really some of the stuff that some of these remote viewers have remote viewed is just absolutely mind-boggling. There's stories of them remote viewing bases on the backside of the moon, secret bases in like Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran. It's crazy, but
On Mars, and I believe one of Jupiter's moons also.
Yep. But I've never, in all the like reading and whatnot I've gone back and forth with about remote viewing, I've never actually heard anyone say they've remote viewed, say, a cryptid or like a spirit or something like that. They've always said they've remote viewed something far out, and one time one of them did get noticed. So let's start with this.
Okay.
When did you realize you had this ability?
The earliest point in time in this lifetime, because I've also had past life regressions, but in this lifetime was, I believe I was 15, and I was part of this group that we talked about bunch of different stuff, and into the occult. And one of the members, who was a bit on the younger side, decided to go AWOL, like from their family. And so in this frantic search, I was trying to figure out how to help. And then I guess you could say old habit dies hard. That old habit popped in from this lifetime, and it just started kind of tracing certain connections and lines together. And I'll probably go further more into detail into some of the techniques of how remote viewing works. But I essentially was able to kind of figure out where this person was in relation to where everyone else was searching for them.
Now, this person, were you, say, close to this person that went missing?
I was not close to them at all. I barely even knew them.
But you felt like an urge to like somehow help.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I even talked to someone part of that group that was trying to figure out what was going on.
Okay. So can we let's dive into this one a little bit. So what were the circumstances of that case, and how were you able to help? That's my second oldest son. Get out of here.
Mommy wants you.
Okay, in a minute.
Where's her blanket?
It's in the dryer, dude. I'm live. Get it close my door. Don't have kids, ladies and gentlemen. Got to remember to put the lock on that thing. All right, sorry. I was saying, what were the actual circumstances behind that case, and how were you able to help?
So this person, because I don't want to name names or even name usernames, because this was a long time. This was like probably, like I said, when I was probably like 15, so probably 2005, 2006 even.
Okay.
And this person decided to try and run away from their family because they saw a being in the forest that was calling to them. And turns out this person ended up not being so nice, and they ended up being chased by that entity. But people only knew that this person decided to try and run away from their family. More or less a join the circus type of scenario.
Okay.
But everyone else was like, no, that's nuts. You're being crazy about this. And then come to find out, they were being chased by something. And this thing was a cryptid. I will not say what, just because of the privacy of the event.
Okay.
But I essentially, in my trying to figure out what was going on, I started to more or less connect to the threads of fate. And because I'm someone who does believe in fate, does believe in destiny, and I believe that the fates use the threads of fate to determine people's certain points in time. And I was able to kind of use the threads of fate to sift through and eventually find the person amongst those threads, and then find what the location was from that.
Okay. Now, were they found safe?
They were found safe, and I think the entity never got close enough to do any harm. And when the search party that was actually there found them, they were more or less unharmed.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I just went dull in my ear for a second. All right. So that happened around when you were 15.
I believe, yeah.
Okay. Did anything else around that time, when you're around that age, did anything else stand out that might have happened to really get this thing going?
A lot of popping into the occult side of things. A lot of talking with people into the occult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There was a lot of.
We don't have to delve into that part. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, what? Now, we had a question in chat from Joe. Can remote viewing be learned?
Mostly I know it to be a skill that can be learned, and a lot of the times, however, when someone uses it, it's an innate skill that they're already gifted. So if remote viewing can be learned, it's going to be a very technical skill, meaning you have to learn each step by step before you can even attempt to remote view something, even say 30 feet away from you, before you have a good grasp of what you're doing.
Okay, so as I remember, the remote viewers that the government would train, theirs was more of a like a numerical thing. Like they'd focus on coordinates or something like that, and they'd write it out. They write out or draw out what they saw. Is that kind of what you do, or is yours just complete on the complete opposite spectrum of that?
Mine is more on the complete opposite spectrum. I am not good with the coordinates. I'd have to actually learn those coordinates and that kind of training in order to do it like that. Me, it's more based on individual persons or events or locations.
Okay, so I'm gonna bounce around here. So I'm
Mhm.
sure everybody wants to know what is the strangest thing you've remote viewed.
The strangest thing
This
I
straight.
have.
Hold on. Let me put a caveat to that.
Okay.
The strangest thing you are able to talk about.
Uh, the strangest I can say has been honestly the coordinated kind of communication behind Vault's property of the X beasts over there talking with or is trying to communicate with the Sasquatch about how to get rid of that weird bear face thing. The only other thing I can say is one where like a pack of three X beasts were being chased away by a pale crawler, and I kind of made sure I had a far view from that one just because pale crawlers are no joke even when it comes to magic and stuff. They are nasty customers.
Now, have you ever been? I guess the word would be spotted or like noticed while you were remote viewing.
Probably when I was in my teens, but I never was able to figure it out. But nowadays, I make sure that I hide my presence anytime I'm remote viewing, just because I don't know who else may be remote viewing the same location or the same person.
Now, now without giving names or anything like that, are you actually able to talk about how you got spotted when you were a teen or no?
Um, I can really only say that when I was a teen, I did not know how to hide myself.
Okay.
So it was just randomized, I guess you could say, because I didn't know the sources of where those remote views were coming from, just that there were eyes on me.
Okay. Bash, you got any questions?
Yeah, Ralph, have you ever tried to remote view a not military, but like let's say, have you ever tried to remote view like Area 51 or something to see if something is still out there?
I've only done that twice, and I did that from a safe position because I know that there are so many different forces at play to try and keep the secrets there secret. Because I just wanted to look at the skies above to find out if there was anything still flying around. I did not view anything at that time because I think that the majority of the weird that happened there moved somewhere else to another base, but that I just had been there at I guess you could say a boring time when there was nothing going around.
Okay. And we had a question from GNA. Are you able to remote view the future or the past? Or is it more stuff like it's more in the present than other?
This is probably going to go into a very broad thing that is even further than just a remote viewing. I am not allowed to scry, view, discern, or really know anything of my own future. So I'm not able to remote view anything in the future. I can remote view the past, and I have to concentrate on the where and when. But most of the time, I'm concentrating on the present, but I can view the past. But yeah, I cannot view the future in any way, shape, or form.
Got it. Wow. Okay.
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah.
So, when did you become aware of the entities on the other side who basically you communicate with?
I want to say around the same time that I was talking to that group, because this was a multifaceted jumping in the pool, as you'd call it, of just going into the paranormal. And the more I was noticing things, the more I was noticing I was being noticed. So this was it was over the years in my teens I really started to find out about the different things that were noticing me.
Sorry.
But I
Okay.
can safely also say that more than likely they were noticing me and keeping an eye on me probably since my very birth.
Now, does anybody else in your family show any latent? Did anybody else show any latent abilities? Does anybody else have the ability to remote view or anything?
Um, I have not spoken to any of them about remote viewing, but I do know that, to just give a quick summary, I know that on my father's side, we have a history of our ancestors being of both druid and witchcraft origins, and that uh, we had a good connection with that side. And then on my mother's side, it was Native American medicine men that can even be traced to my great grandfather.
Darkwood's got a really good question in chat. Can Ralph view himself to possibly unlock more potential within himself that he may not even be aware of?
I have done that every once in a while, and it's kind of funny. The reason why, it's because I guess you could call it the equivalent of spiritual tick removal, because I'm constantly making sure that whenever I feel a certain itch or a certain type of weirdness, I look at myself to just make sure there's nothing hanging on me that may have latched on from something.
Okay. Sorry, marital stuff here.
All right. We have a question from Private by Rothian. Can you remote view bloodlines?
That would be a yes. It would take a long while though, especially if I did not know the origin country of the bloodlines, because just the way I do things, like culture of origin kind of helps with remote viewing the bloodlines.
Okay. All right. It just one just scrolled ready to go.
And
Okay.
put your glasses on.
Yeah, you're right. I should. I'm still using these beat up ones. Can't find my other ones.
Mm.
All right. So here we go. All right. Chica asked, "Can you tell immediately if you're being remote viewed by another person?"
In a sense, yes. It's kind of like that sixth sense that you get when you know that you're being watched from something in the woods, or from even an animal. Like even if you somehow know that your dog's watching you from across the yard, um, it does have to be trained a little bit to feel spiritual or uh, less than physical means of being seen. But I am able to figure that out, and that because of my sight, because I've opened up my third eye, or my third eye has been open since birth actually. I'm able to actually kind of look at a certain point and see if there's a little portal, if there. To guys help explain the three main ways of remote viewing I know of is one. The one I use is you open a portal inside your mind, in front of your mind's eye, and then another portal where you're trying to look at. That is one. That's the way I do it. There's another one where you take your third eye and then you send it out somewhere. So you have a little eye that is looking somewhere. The third is where you're putting a projection of your own face in your own head somewhere, and you're looking through that. So based on how people try to either disguise or disfigure themselves, in a sense, on how they view things, I'm able to kind of figure out, okay, that is a remote view or that is a spirit, because it takes a little bit just to figure out, okay, is that a spirit watching me or is that a remote viewer?
Okay. Have you
Okay.
have you have you noticed since you've come into this ability, are do you notice more paranormal activity around you?
Uh I can safely say when I dipped into the paranormal, I've been noticing the paranormal activity that's been around me, and that to me it just feels like there's never been an increase in paranormal activity. It's just a concentration of what has been going on around me after I learned my abilities.
Just
Okay.
more so of okay, now I can see it now. Like
Hmm.
you can pay attention to it more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I got a question. I was out fishing with my buddy yesterday, and I told him that I was like we were going to be doing a live stream with a remote viewer. Any like, I'm not sure how to answer this. I don't know. That's what I'm going to ask you. Is remote viewing and astral projection the same thing, or are they in the same ball field but different sides?
They're in the same ballpark, but they are different things. Where remote or astral projection is you taking your own mind and spirit and taking it out of your body, whereas remote viewing is simply opening a window or sending a piece of yourself. So not your entire spirit, but just a little piece of yourself out there to view something.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see if I missed any questions. Okay, Darkwoods from Darkwoods. Roth, have you dared to look into the abyss that stares back at you? That most
That most
so have you dared to look into this?
uh no comment.
Okay.
Good answer. Good answer.
All right. I'm going to go back up a little bit. So we have a question from Sandra. Is remote viewing similar to bilocation?
By location. I mean, let me try to figure out what that means. Is bilocation the ability to put your presence in two locations at once?
Oops, a second. Hit the Google quick.
Honestly, man, that's honestly one thing I've never heard of, and I'm gonna have to
Yep,
look
it
into
does.
that.
Yep, yeah, the supposed phenomena of being in two places simultaneously. So that's like saying
Oh,
someone sees you in California and sees you in Japan at the same time.
that. Um, I would say no, simply because remote viewing is more about peering into a place, whereas bilocation is a phenomena that you and I don't know fully about.
Okay, so Shell from chat asks along the same along the same lines as the bloodline question. Can you remote view past lives?
I have done that. I would probably need to look into the person in the present and then follow their fate thread back into the past to do that. I've done that with my own self, and that kind of was, I guess you could say, my first step to learning how to do that.
Okay, so for let's backtrack right there to one part of your answer. Can we define what fate thread is for everybody that's listening?
Okay, the threads of fate are the threads woven by the fates, from Greek mythology. The fates, the mother, the maiden, the crone. Uh, they are woven to make the tapestry of fate, of destiny. And each fate thread starts at the forging of your soul. It's not at the birth of your body; it's at the forging of your soul. So, however many eons back that can go, depending on the entity. Um,
Okay.
and the future of that fate thread is sometimes fully woven. Other times, it's still being woven as the present is happening.
Oh, that make wow. Okay, all right. That helps me a lot with these questions and understanding how you're able to do this.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me scroll back down. Oh, by scroll up, scroll back up because chat's moving pretty quick tonight. Thank you for. By the way, thank you for everybody who's come to chat and come checked out the stream. Rothian is pretty awesome, pretty cool dude. And if you have any questions for the man, dump them in chat. I'm trying to
Yeah.
find one. Okay, so this is the one I wanted to find. Silent Rain asks, is it possible for a non-gifted person to block someone from remote viewing them?
Yes, it's very similar to blocking out spirits, entities, and actual projections. Even you essentially put up that barrier with the intent to stop someone or something from viewing you, whether it's a spirit that's actually outside your house trying to look inside. Because in the spirit world, the walls and the barriers that are on the physical plane don't necessarily exist. You have to actually put them up yourself. So I'm living in a house right now, but in the spirit world without the barriers, it's just me sitting in a field, more or less.
Okay,
So
that makes
yeah.
sense. That makes sense. Choose. All right. So I got a question.
And
Now, like I said, I've looked at Uri Geller and what was his name? This is the popular guy that was on Art Bell. Just messing
uh,
around.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name either. But he was basically like one of the teachers of remote viewing.
Yes. Just messing around. Have you ever tried to remote view any off-world stuff?
I have. I usually go outside the solar system on that kind of stuff with a little bit of help. But I have definitely remote viewed alternate dimensions mostly, and alternate other planets and outside the solar system very rarely.
Okay. So now I got a question for you. This is you watched the interview with Dark Quest, right?
Yes.
Now, am am I bugging? Am I crazy here? Or what did you was it? Did you see that face in that one birch tree?
The thing that kind of looked like either a skull or a hack face. Yes, I did see that. I also saw the giant face to the right hand side of that.
Now, in in your opinion, do you think there might have been a dimensional thinning there, and that's how he was possibly able to catch all this stuff in that photograph?
There could have been interdimensional thinning. The source of it would have to be kind of looked into because dimensional thinning can happen in a number of ways. It could have been because of a traumatic history. Uh, it could have been because of a battle. Because in battle there is a lot of carnage, a lot of things going on that resonate in the spirit world, and sometimes that can result in thin portions of the veil around that place. It could have also been an artifact that was buried there. It could have been that the cryptids there were doing something themselves.
Okay. So I just lost my train of thought because Typhon just typed in a great question. All right. Oh, Typhon, by the way, man, why don't you have your wrench yet? There you go. All right. So, he said, Roth, you said you could remove you the path.
Mhm.
If you could say just how far back have you remote viewed? So, how far back have you actually like remote viewed?
Uh, I can say the two main periods that I have remote view that are the farthest back that I can think of are the Permian period, or if that's correct, the one where it's before the Triassic period, and as well as the Cretaceous period.
Okay. So, all right. So that sounds like neat. What were you able to see? What were you able to see?
In the Cretaceous period, so I I do believe in dragons. I do also understand that uh, the modern word dragon only really came in during what the 15th century, 16th century, and that there are a lot of words and names for dragons that have gone on before that time. During I have noticed that in prehistory, some of the ancient animals that were existing back in that time were the food for dragons.
Now we're talking fire. Like, all right. So when you remote view them, can you put a description on what they look like? Because I love your avatar there that has a dragon on there.
Mhm.
Can you describe what it looked like that you actually saw?
So, and this is kind of, I guess, going into the actual spiritual draconology because if you guys have heard from the Southern Supernatural show, with Sean G, Danielle. Daniel and I are both, draconian spirits. We're both attached to dragons. I have my own attachment to dragons that I can talk about um, off air or in private if someone wants to. I've actually talked to Red Raider and Lakay about a lot of this, and
Okay.
so going to dragons, there are two main types that I know of. There is the Eastern serpent, which is the type that you see in the mosaics in the ancient Japanese tapestries, as well as what you see in the Mayan Aztec artworks with the feathered serpents. And then
Okay.
there's the type that you see in the reliefs of European history or in Russian history, even, where it has the four legs, the two wings that are separate from the legs, the tail and the crest of horns. So think of, say, Draco from Dragonheart. Like the dragon picture on my avatar, or uh, hell, even the Dungeons and Dragons dragon. That general anatomy is more or less what a Western type dragon looks like.
Okay. It's expensive. Okay. So
Have you ever tried to remote view anything down in Antarctica or you know what?
no, that
Yeah.
might get us flagged, dude.
It's very icy and snowy.
Good answer. Yeah, I like that answer better.
Okay. Now, one of the biggest areas that are paranormal would be the Bermuda Triangle. Have you ever tried to remote view the Bermuda Triangle or what's going on in that area?
I've looked into that area. To me, it sounds like there's some kind of periodic uh, dimensional rifting going on there. I don't know if the rifting is intentional or if it's just residual, but it doesn't happen every day. It only happens in certain times, and I've actually not yet been able to catch a time in the present that the thing has been open just because of how sporadic it is.
Hmm. So, okay.
So let's let's get to the let's get to the stuff that you've actually seen on the property that Vault and Lakea live on, that they own.
Yeah.
So we've we've established that there's obvious X beast there, which
Yes.
for all you new folks, that's what we call a dog man over here. You don't like the term dog man, so we call them X beasts because it's unknown what the hell they are. Now we know there's that there. There's giant squatch,
Mhm.
will-o-wisps, and this bare-faced. I, I don't know what the hell that thing is because I remember we were doing the live and I saw that thing come bounding and I was like, Vault, what the hell is that? And that's when he picked his gun up.
Mhm.
What in your viewing of that property, what what in your opinion dominates that property?
I think right now it's those squatches that are dominating it because they have been the most established in that area for the longest period of time. I know the X Beasts have been kind of putting out their corner in their little territory as well. Um, I think honestly it's just been the squatches just because they've been around the longest and they may have inherited it from another group of southern squatches because I don't know where the southern squatches are going.
Okay. Now, w- we know that that property is backed up to, I think it was Native American land and swampland and everything like that.
Yep,
Yeah.
Indian burial grounds.
Yeah. Now, the evening, I believe it was the evening that we did the experiment with the fireworks.
Oh, I know that. I know that evening.
Yeah, that was maybe some of the most accurate between you and a little bit. That was some of the most accurate stuff I've heard because, like, and I don't know. I don't know if there's like an open investigation still on. I do know there was a miss. I do know there's a missing report coming out of that area down there. But that shit, yeah, that what when that happened, Rolf, you cemented it for me. I was like, yo, this dude is legit. Like, how the hell did he know all that? We got a question. We got a question. Question. What was it though? I mean, I saw a jumping tree, and up far. Shell Ashley asks, "Was it a dog man she saw jumping tree to tree in the far upper right at Vault's Halloween at Vault's on Halloween around 8:15 ish?"
Uh, I think it was a younger one. I think it was a younger one learning how to climb and was just getting a bit excited.
So, rambling on, I might have missed a couple questions here.
Oh, here's a question. What? Hold on. What? Well, it was about something about the pale crawlers. Hey, Roth. Question: what are the crawlers considered? Damn scary for one. Even the other side of the veil has been trying to figure out what their origin is. They don't know where they came from. They know that they are resistant to magic, as in like even the highest level practitioners have a hard time scratching them. It takes like probably 308, 45 caliber, 50 caliber to pierce our hides for some reason. Either that or you have to use some metal. I don't know.
So, do you,
Wait, hold on. Keith Thing asks, what are crop circles? If we have
So the actual crop circles that I know of are either navigational coordinates to and from other ETs, and sometimes they are messages and messages through symbology to humans even.
So, Sandra says in chat, tell them about the flesh gates. Well, what is that?
Dark magic. I'll just say dark magic.
yeah, flush gates is kind of something I don't want to
Okay.
know about just by the terminology to it.
We're gonna put the period right now. No, we're not gonna touch that one. No, I don't need to know about that.
All right. And Primal Cry asked, I'm sorry, Primal, I'm just getting to your question now. Can you remote view off-world bloodlines?
Can I? They're asking, can I? Or she's asking, can I remote view off world and whatnot?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
like
yes, I can.
bloodlines from off world.
Oh, Bloodlines from off world. Oh, yes. However, I have to do a lot of asking and P's and Q's on that one.
David Wilcott said, "Hey Roth, have you ever tried to remote view the Lost Dutchman's mind, the grave of Genghis Khan, or the Lost Dutchman's mind, or the grave of Genghis Khan?"
Um, the grave I have remote viewed was Dracula's, not Genghis Khan's. I didn't know if there was any. I didn't know there were any spiritual happenings going on there or the Dutchman's mind. But I have remote viewed Dracula's.
So, hey, I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Lem-
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Okay. Hey, Darkwoods asks, Roth, how much do you know about the other side of the veil, adjacent dimensions? Enough to know when I need to shut my mouth.
I was just gonna ask you that question. Yes. All right. So I have a question. Do you believe that the veil is thinning, and people are starting to see what's in those other dimensions?
Yes, and I will also put a caveat to that in that the veil and the electromagnetic field around the Earth are not the same thing. The veil was put up, and this is still argued even on the other side of the veil. The veil was first put up at 0 BC, 0 AD, or during the time of the Great Deluge, or Deluge, however you want to pronounce it.
Yep. Okay. And you got. Okay. Wedge asked, "Has anyone or anything ever blocked you from a remote viewing session, and what was he trying to do?"
I can actually answer that in a recent one. When I was trying to remote view the backyard, and I think even Red Raider was trying to do her own sensory exercise there, and it was during that same night that we had some weird activity going on there. It was like there was this weird barrier around the vault's backyard, and I could not remote view back there.
All right. Now, was that around the time that this weird bare face looking thing showed up?
I want to say probably around that time. Yeah.
'Cause I remember that. Let's see. All right. Now, what have the entities on the other side told you about aliens? And are you able to remote view aliens? And which aliens can you remote view and which can't you remote view?
I know that aliens and entities and spirits and all that are not considered separate things to the rest of creation. It's just more species, more neighbors. And I can remote view without many asking to do so. Reptilians, draconians. I could remote view the two types of grays if I wanted to, but I probably want to ask first on certain things because I know they have their little secrets. I cannot view the mantids or some of the other more obscure ones.
Okay. Key, I don't know. I just came back. I don't know if this was asked, but Keith King asked in chat, if he gave you a place on a map, could you tell him what's up with that place?
You would probably have to give me the name of the city that is closest to that point on the map, or you would have to say a defining land feature that's there.
Okay. So I gotta stop leaving the store open. All right, so I just had a damn good question. What the hell was it? Okay, all right. I'm gonna ask one from chat until I remember what I was gonna ask.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, now I know what I was gonna ask. So, not not getting into like demons and stuff like that.
Mhm.
The general I guess there's an understanding that underneath the dam of the Euphrates River there's a supposed fallen angel in chains there, and like there was numerous reports that soldiers did not want to be there, and like some of the security forces didn't want to go down into the lower levels. Have you like have you ever not specifically there, but have you ever been remote viewing and come across something like that and just was like, oh, well, like I shouldn't have did this?
Uh, most of the time, that specific kind of imprisonment usually happens on other worlds. Imprisonments on this side, most of them have recently either been taken to another dimension to be imprisoned elsewhere. Um, but I could definitely imagine that there's probably a lot of residual negativity from those kinds of things happening around that area. Because, yeah, when it comes to those kinds of imprisonments, the strength of the veil does have a part to play in how strong those chains are in imprisoning that entity.
Okay. So, well, I guess this question was going to come up eventually. Mr. Eddie Petch asks in chat, can you see JC and describe the feeling?
So I call him Yeshua. That's just my name for him because that's what he's called on the other side of the veil. I have seen him. I have spoken with him in spirit. He to me feels like a friend and an ally. I don't get some of the overwhelming sense of love and positivity. It feels more like it's like comrades in arms that have to work with different nations, but we still get along.
Okay. Hey Ralph, Darkwoods would like to talk to you off show if possible.
Okay, Darkwoods, I am on Sean G's Discord. I'm also on the Nightmare Nations Discord. I am also on the Chaos Theory Productions Discord. If you want to get a Discord and do that, then we can definitely chat there.
Okay, so Typhon, Ralph, can you confirm yes or no on rapid deterioration of the veil?
It is deteriorating not as quickly as some might think it is, but it is deteriorating.
Now, in your... Oh, go ahead, Bass.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Do you know who originally put the veil up?
That is an easy question. Jehovah. He's the one that put that veil up. And it is a decision that everyone on the other side will accept that he did it, but they may not agree with any of the reasons as to why he did it.
Now, if possible, can you just can you describe the I guess the people the things that assist you on the other side, or is that a no go?
The things that assist me on the other side, I can simply say I have contact with reptilians and draconians on the ETs. I also have contact with daemons. And daemons are the species that just naturally look like what most people think demons look like. The red skin, the horns, the tail. But daemons are in no way related to demons, because daemons are just a naturally occurring species. It's just daemons were what demons chose to look like. I also have contact with a lot of other species as well, dragons included.
So, like, all right. So, when say you're like browsing the internet or YouTube or just reading an article or something like that, and you come across something interesting, do you go try to remote view that in a safe possible way to see if you can see what you can see?
It depends on what it is. Sometimes I'll just ask a
Like,
question to one of my buddies to say, "Hey, should I be worried about this, or should I be interested in this? Like, what are your guys' opinions on what can be done here?" And it all depends on what they say and kind of what I go off from that.
okay, now I'm sure it's going to be asked. I'm going to ask it. Have you ever tried to remote view the lotto numbers?
Uh, 37. That's all I'll say.
Oh, that's a good
I,
question.
Can I be honest with you guys? The reason when I was like in my early 20s, the reason I was looking into remote viewing is because I wanted to remote view lotto numbers. It never worked, but whatever.
So we got a question from Prime Reply. Have you seen multi-level stacked pyramids in the past?
There was one instance where it was two dimensions touching, where the top point of a pyramid was touching the top point of another pyramid. The type of stacked pyramids, like I'm just gonna go off of this, like like when you saw the movie Stargate and you saw that giant pyramid ship landing on top of the other pyramid. Not necessarily. I've not necessarily seen that.
All right, I got a question for you. Since we're gonna broach this topic now, um, in your in your remote viewing opinion, what are X beasts?
X beasts come in what I believe. Okay, I know there are three separate types that are the main three types. There are the natural X beasts, which are, and I think I've even said this once on another show, that the X beasts, the naturally occurring X beasts, are the martial children of the great wolf spirit. So the very first wolf spirit that Jehovah made, that wolf spirit asked for two types of children: the natural wolf that you know of, that's been even zoologically described, and the martial arm. Well, his people, his soldiers, his warriors. That is generally what the natural X beasts are. The engineered X beasts are what a lot of shady groups have been tinkering with and trying to make into a biological weapon, more or less. So the ones that, and those are easy to spot because they have disproportionate features. They have either giant heads compared to their body size, or they've got retractable freaking foot-long claws coming out of their paws that shouldn't be happening. And then the third type are I think are the purely spiritual type, and a lot of those tend to be darker.
So now, all right. So Ralph, later this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be I'm bringing on a friend of mine. I've known this guy since middle school.
Yeah, like 11 years old, 12 years old, something like that.
Yeah. So I hope he's listening right now because we've already had the discussion. I'm going to bring him on. Now, he hit me up earlier, right? And I guess because I guess the link I had posted for the interview with Darkwoods, like it like clicked on something with him, and he was like, "Yo, listen, yo, I didn't know you were into this stuff." I was like, yo, I've been into it since like middle school, and apparently so has he. He just never talked about it because he thought people would think he was crazy and shit. And I told him, no, I think the people who don't believe this stuff is crazy because it's all out there for you to see. Now, when I do this interview with him, I would like you to come on
Okay.
and be part of the panel and the questioning because um um from what he described to me, this happened in Florida, and I you guys know me. I asked question after question, like trying to, and I think he had a dog man enter his house and stand over him, and it, yeah, it's just from what he told me, man. I think this is gonna be
I,
it's gonna be crazy.
yeah.
Yo, uh, Williams, I'm sorry for breaking the breaking the bubble like this, but dude, it's gonna be a hell of a show.
Hmm.
Because to be honest with you, when we were talking earlier, that's the first time he's told anybody about it.
Yeah. Just as I guess a preview, even the natural type dogmen, the ones that have been around for millions of years, they do understand how doors work. They don't have to bust through a door to get into it. If the door is unlocked, they can turn the knob and open it.
Well, believe me, that was one of the questions I asked during while we were talking was, listen, at any point, now this happened in Florida. I was like, at any point, did you have any windows open, screen doors open? And he said it happened in January. So in Florida, it's probably like 50 degrees. So to keep it cool in the house, you open the window. So he says, yeah, he had a window open.
Ah,
Now, I'm just saying it, and what made it's going to be a crazy interview because I
mm-hmm.
think he, I asked him, I was like, yo, have you actually like maybe delved into what you saw? Like, and he said no. He told me no because he thought he was crazy for what he saw. Like, and he didn't want to bring it up because he thought other people would think he was crazy. And I cannot wait to bring him on. And he
All
also
right.
had, yeah, go ahead, Bass.
Now you were explaining this to me earlier, but I was so out of it.
It's,
Wow.
Yeah,
yeah,
that bears a lot of going into. That sounds
um,
very interesting.
like because I'll just give this up there because I want him to describe it, but to talk all about this. But he did say it had an odor. It smelled like death, like rotted meat, and he said it was big. It was really big, and he said he said it didn't look like the werewolves from movies. And I sent him a couple pictures, and he said I sent him one specific one. It was like an artist rendition of drawing.
Mm.
He said it gave him chills, and it gave him chills, but the eyes needed to be bigger. So you guys, my man from middle school, he's gonna come on, and I, he said he would. I'm gonna keep going at him. Where he can change his name, put something on. But I want you guys to hear this because I'm
I,
the first person he's told about it in 10 years.
so
Hmm.
I have a statement first, but there's going to be a question afterwards.
Okay.
Now, Jake, so you know that like Dylan had off Friday, right?
Hmm.
Because he was with his mom.
Hmm.
Well, like he stayed there to watch her. Now keep in mind that he grew up in this house,
Okay.
right? Nothing strange has ever happened to him. He was sleeping and he had his leg hanging off the bed, and it felt like something like put his hand on his leg and like rub like right where your ankle meets your foot right there, and like rub that, and it like woke him up, and he looked up and he seen what looked like a little kid kneeling, like basically like kind of say like hunched down in the corner of his room.
No, thank you. So this happened
And
on
this
Friday.
happened
This happened Friday night.
Friday night into Saturday morning sometime. Next time you come in, ask him about it.
Jeez.
So,
Like he told what the hell he told me about this.
so Ralph, I'm gonna nail down this interview for hopefully Thursday, and I want you to be part of the panel.
That sounds like very interesting. I'd like to join in. Yeah.
Yeah, that and 'cause right before I came on the show, we were messaging back and forth, and he's like, "Yeah, what's with all the questions with like where the woods are located and windows and everything like that?" He's like, do you know something about that?" And I'm like, a little bit. I did tell him, I was like, "Yo, listen, you're not crazy because a lot of people have had the same experience. So this is going to be really, really good." Okay, so
All right. So wait, hold on. I still had the question. Dark was asked, Rob, do you have any ideas on how we can awake or turn on junk DNA?
That would need to be ritually based if you're going to go through magical means. On ways of science or medical ways, I don't know. It would have to be ritually based, and you would definitely need to start kind of
So
asking who you believe in for some guidance on that.
so so you think it would be maybe a kind of shift in consciousness, maybe?
A kind of shift in consciousness, and as well as a dedicated amount of time in ritual practice to find the kind of switches that you're looking for.
so Dark said that was a good answer. So, all right, I'm gonna ask this one. What I I don't think I asked this right. Did I ask what the scariest thing you've ever remote viewed?
I feel like that's you've been asking that, and the scariest thing I've remote view. What I can say, I'm allowed to say that I've remote viewed. Uh,
Did I ask?
I would say probably would have to be something along the lines of what the pale crawlers that around those
Okay,
things.
okay, yeah. What? Oh, that along with the pale crawlers. Um, your I don't know what other term to say it. Your helpers,
Mhm.
are they familiar with tulpas? Like,
They are familiar with tulpas, and that has been a line of questioning that they have had. And they know that these things have been around before the internet, more or less. They know that they've been around for at least 5 centuries, like 500 years of existence. These things have been known to be around.
okay, and the the opinion on the quote unquote Slender Man. I think that's
That sounds like that probably sounds like a tulpa even to them, because they've not seen anything like that.
yeah. I generally think the Slender Man is a tulpa that was created that was kind of manifested because so many people were focused on it.
Mhm.
Um, Now a maybe that might be an issue that we're having with these X beasts, that it's become such a popular topic now that it's taking on a tulpa form and it's manifesting more.
Oh, that
That
would ex-
that could
oh,
be. I'm definitely getting from my side here that it's a very mixed bag. Tulpas of already existing species, especially paranormal species, are I'll say the word heavily regulated. They don't like tulpas of their own kind being made.
Okay. So if they don't, hmm. So what is the opinion of your helpers of these cryptids that are possibly genetically manipulated with, genetically messed with?
They don't like them. They view them as things created by humans that need to be done away with. They don't like their own kinds being tampered with in that way.
Okay,
It'd
so
be
in other,
like
they
it'd
kind of
be
feel
like
like an abomination, like get it, like destroy it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so see that now I'm just not see the coffee's
oh,
kicking in. I'm getting the
yeah.
questions now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Um, True. Now, next time you come on my job, I just found this out the other day. You have to ask Molly Hatchet
Hmm.
about her Hatman sightings.
What?
Oh, Hatman.
Yeah.
I okay. I've actually asked about that. Probably even like 3 years ago. I started asking about that, and they're saying the consistency on the other side of the veil is that the Hat Man is a meat suit that gets traded around by different spirits and entities that want to show up on this plane. They don't want to be seen as what they really are. So the Hat Man is just a cover. You know, it's literally just a meat suit that gets traded around a lot.
You know what? That shit makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but
Hold on.
next time you see her, ask her about the. And it's not just one time that she's seen it. It's been multiple times.
Just, I got a question for you, Bass. Has she gotten rid of that damn leg yet?
No,
See, that's half the problem right there. Half the
no, dude.
problem
She
right
was
I,
there.
having. From what she was explaining, man, she was having Hatman sightings before she even got the leg. Like these shits go back a while.
So that, you know what? Delving into that, these weird sightings, like the Hat Man, the grinning man. Um, do you,
The Red
tho-
Man, not the
they
rapper.
why would what kind of other what I wonder what these entities actually look like, so that, or why they need to say take on that meat suit to come over here.
that is yeah. I'll definitely explain that one. So every species, every person, every entity, even things that you consider spirits that are not like the disembodied spirits of humans, they all have bodies on the other side. And I'll say it in a turn of phrase kind of way. Imagine that you're trying to get somewhere. You go to the airport. You go through security, and they make you take off all your clothes, all your items, everything, and they put them in a locker. You then have to go completely naked to that other place. And only after you go to that other place, after you get off the plane, do you have to get a new set of clothes, a new set of items. And but when you go back to the airport and go back to your place of residence, once you get back to that first airport, they give you back all your stuff. But you have to uh, get rid of all the stuff from that other place that you went to. because
You
of
know
the
what? That's probably the best damn explanation I heard for that.
yeah.
That's like right on the nose. Okay, so Darkwoods said, "Do you see humans as a whole entering end times, or are we going to progress further into the timeline?"
The end times, the words Armageddon, end of the world, has always been kind of a lost in translation term. The word, even the word world has always been an umbrella term. A world could mean how someone views the world. Another world could be a communal sense of the world. Another word for it could be the actual planet itself. End of the world, and the best way I can explain it is that the end of this veiled continuum that humans have been experiencing for the better part of, well, 2022 years. Um, and once that time is done, it'll go back to how the rest of creation operates. Because this world is the singular world that acts in the way that we know it to, but it does not act the way the rest of creation does. So, end of the world in the best sense could be simply the end of this type of civilization stopping, but another one taking its place. So, everything will go to the way the rest of creation is.
Okay.
I have a question from Silent. What is the most interesting planet you have viewed as far as life forms living there?
Um,
It doesn't have
I
to be in the
don't,
solar system. It could be on the other side of the galaxy.
I don't know the name of it. I don't even know what part of the star chart it's from. It's a trade world that has multiple species living there. It's a very beatific looking hub world of trade resources and all that kind of stuff. So it's got multiple stations around it. A few of them are the sphere that I think we've seen on Earth recently. The few of them that are actually kind of a sphere ship like that.
Okay. I got a two-part question.
Yeah.
So in earlier years research about like conspiracy stuff like that, they said Earth was considered I guess a prison planet. What,
Uh,
like, meaning like don't go there messing with the inhabitants, like it's a petri dish, like.
more
And
like a
this.
testing ground. More like a testing ground, less like a prison.
Okay. And the second part is it really like Star Wars out there? Not so
Um,
much like the fighting and everything, but just like the different species on the different planets and everything like that.
it is that kind of communal, populated galaxy where species know about other species and they do trade and commerce. They do have conflicts of interest with territories or resources. Um, it's like that all over the creation, I guess you could call it. Like they're not isolated from each other the way that humans are.
Okay. So let's all right, let's test this. Let's do a live test here. From Primal Cry. Question: A few years back, a woman in our area was found dead. Locals say her arms were ripped off. She was naked from the waist up. Wolves were to blame, but no DNA confirmed. Was it a cryptid kill?
That is pointing towards Sasquatch to me. If there were no claw marks, there were no bite marks anywhere on her body, only that her top was taken off, her bra was taken off, everything above the waist was taken off, and her arm was ripped out. That sounds like a Sasquatch that was, well, I'm not going to make light of it, but it sounds like a Squatch was getting lonely and he saw a female human as a female.
Question. Shell asked, "Do other worlds have diversity of cool music too?"
Music, art, the arts. Yeah.
Charlie
All
said,
right,
"Hot pocket for you."
I got a question. I got a question. What is your thoughts as a remote viewer of the people that go missing in national forests and random places? The ones that actually go missing, then the ones who end up 10 miles away over like 8 different ridge lines. Could it be a
Those
portal opening or
portals, portal traps being carried by certain types of cryptids that know their way around a mountain far better than any wild native animal. Um, I would say that definitely that it's a mixed bag.
Okay.
I'm following like you'd be surprised my Facebook follow list. Last week I came across a video I sent it to Chandri where somebody was walking down a pathway and I guess they had a camera on them or something like that, but you can see what looks like a
Is it
portal opening up behind them.
a YouTube video? Because if it's not a YouTube
Yeah,
video,
it
then
is.
bring it up.
It is. Like I know everyone's seen the
Okay,
movie
never
Predator.
mind.
I know everybody's seen the movie Predator. Now, what this
Yes.
thing did, it opened up into a giant circle, and like you can see the outline ridges of it,
Mhm.
but it was blending the background like they did in the Predator movie for his cloaking, and it was no more than 30, 40 yards behind the dude. Like he could have walked into it.
Yeah, the main
So,
yeah that's definitely a portal right there.
I was just scrolling. I'm like, portal opens in the woods. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's click on it. Damn sure enough, I was like, oh, I had to put my glasses on to see it, but yeah. I want to say it was probably between 12 and 15 feet wide, 12 and 15 feet tall. Just like a giant circle, like refracting light.
so waiting. There is actually a case like that from I want to say it was down near the LBL, and Kumbo Baker talks about it, and I guess the dude Bear also, but Kumbo mainly talks about how there was a man and woman. Yeah, they were. I guess they were getting busy on the hood of a car. Something came up, twisted the dude's head completely off, and then went on to savagely attack the woman while she was laying on top of the car.
Mhm.
So yeah, that shit has happened. But yeah, they would never put that in a police report. So
Oh, absolutely not.
um,
Woman is attacked by giant beasts in the woods. You'll never see that.
Do you think they,
no R word in chat, please. Other than that, you're good.
do you think they mean to kill the woman, or it's an oops? I was too rough. I personally think it was an oops, but then again, things could go from bad to worse.
Like
Again, you know,
maybe it just couldn't take her scream. Maybe it just couldn't take the yelling or something like that. Maybe it was upsetting it.
maybe it could have gone from
Now,
yeah,
let's delve into these portal traps.
yeah.
Okay. Now we're gonna touch on the missing 411 stuff. So these these people that go missing, there's often bad weather that
Mhm.
happens immediately after these people go disappearing, and it hinders search and rescue operations. Do you have a opinion of what that possibly could be, like why that would be happening pretty much every time?
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a portal trap to me. And I think you've actually talked about the stairs in the woods, even, and that's part of that being a portal trap, where something is either out of place or even sometimes it's a completely hidden portal trap where someone will go through something or onto something or even under something, and it will cause the portal to trap. The odd weather. Um, I have not quite figured out why that happens. I know that portals up in the sky happen, and that sometimes they are hidden as a storm cloud. But a portal trap happening on land, and then that odd weather that's always been cause for more questions for me too.
Okay, all right, that's pretty good. Pretty good answer. So Typhon's got this one. He says, "Hey Ralph, I believe the veil was put in place to protect humanity to give us a chance to establish ourselves. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's being allowed to thin in order for transition?"
In order for in a way, yes. The main joke that I've been hearing even from the other side is that the veil was meant to protect the rest of creation from humans, but and they do kind of have uncomfortable laughter with that one. Um, but that it does sound like it's partially that, partially also to finally give everything that's been stuck here that's not human a break and to finally go back to whatever realm they consider home. Because I, and this is kind of getting a bit into my own experience. There are beings here that don't want to be here. They don't want anything to do with this planet. They want to be back where they came from. And the only thing that's keeping them here is the veil.
You got
So basically, old world stuff that's stuck on this side since the veil has been put here.
Yes.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
You know, to go with that to, to go with that airport iteration, like think of it like you're stuck at the airport for years on end and you're stuck with only the clothes that you got from this side, and you're just itching to go back because you just got tired out.
like you ended up in a layover in Texas.
Uh,
Yeah.
you know what that sounds like? That sounds like that horrible Tom Hanks movie called Airport, where he
Yeah.
played like a foreign guy stuck in the airport and didn't know what the
Hmm.
hell was going on.
Okay. Primal has a good question. Rothian, how many lifetimes have you had here so far?
On this side of the veil, I've been here since the 15th century, and on the other side of the veil, a lot longer.
15th century. Question. Protect the rest.
1400s.
Yep.
Do you remember? All right. Now, earlier in the show, you said you went through past life regressions.
Yes.
How many of them do you remember? And what can you remember?
Uh, every other lifetime except for this one, I have been in positions where I've done bad things for the right reasons. And the number could be I've had probably 20 to 30 lifetimes.
So, do you think you're just cycling in until you get something right? Then you move on to the upper plane?
Mm,
Or you're just strategically placed here?
I've been strategically placed here and not necessarily of my full consent.
Okay.
Okay, Salarine. asking chat, why can't these inter slash extra dimensional beings help humanity, i.e., toppling the elite for a better world? I think I could answer that a little bit. A lot of them are negative entities, and a lot of the positive entities out there are kind of like they don't want to interfere with the development. They want us to develop on ourselves, whereas these other ones are the ones that are, say, soul snatching people and shit.
I will add to that and say that it was also, especially for the more interdimensional stuff, not even so much the ET stuff, but the interdimensional, told by Jehovah, do not do anything to save them from themselves unless I specifically say you can.
Roth, you have chat up?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Charlie asked a question. I'm sorry, Charlie. I can't pronounce that, dude.
Oh, the cynocephali. Yeah, the cynocephali are the X beasts, that the natural ones that just so happen to show themselves more civilized than others. The tribes of dog-headed men, the tribes of wolf-headed men that decided to, have actual like commerce and trade, however minute and minor it was.
Okay. See, I didn't catch that one. I can pronounce cynocephaly.
Yeah.
It's the second one Charlie put up in there. I think you're trying to put cynocephaly in that one and just auto corrected or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the better quiz question is, well, is Saint Christopher actually cynocephaly? No, Saint Christopher is the dog-headed saint, right?
Saint Christopher, yeah, is the dog-headed saint. So the legend goes he was a dog-headed man, so an X-beast that was gifted the power of speech by Jehovah to speak the word of God, more or less. And he was able to live amongst humans, albeit, since he was a saint, he probably had to travel a lot, and was kind of a rarity that he was fully able to speak without having to do some other kind of thing. It was mostly just purely given to him.
Okay.
So we got two questions. One is from Chase. Have you ever heard the name? I might be pronouncing wrong. I'm just gonna spell it Ahayah. Ahaya.
I have not.
Okay.
And then, no, you haven't heard that name spoken over on the other side?
Not that name in specific, no.
Okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
And Darkwood asked, Darkwood said that he's had somebody very credible remote view him through channeling. That person was overwhelmed by 32 aspects of him. What would that mean to you?
32 aspects. That sounds like 32 aspects. That sounds like it has to do with your history as a soul. It sounds like it has to do with the properties of what your soul kind of was made to do. That is something that I would say you should try to do some self-discovery with, like some soul searching in a almost literal sense.
All right. So now, so what in your opinion, what would be the purpose of these portal traps? Like, are they specifically going out and looking for set there for, say, human beings, or are they just set there to be there and possibly catch, I don't know, cryptids also?
I think some were specifically meant to trap humans, such as the stairs in the woods. I think others were meant to trap cryptids, such as the ones that are very heavily hidden, like amongst trees or in like maybe even a cave entrance. Um, and they are caught there for it comes down to having to interrogate the thing that made the trap and say, hey, why'd you make this? Were you trying to catch some food? Or were you trying to catch a prisoner? Were you trying to just play a joke? Because jokes amongst like those types that do that, they have a meaner sense of humor than others.
Okay, so um, everybody, say hi to Robert in chat. That is the gentleman I was talking about earlier that I can't wait to bring on the show.
What's up, Rob? How you doing, Rob?
Yo, what's your question, man? So, yeah, like, if you can, we're gonna try to do it for Thursday evening. Yeah, they'll do your interview. And dude, I'm telling you, we're gonna blow your mind. I, I honestly, I don't think what you saw was imagined. I think something got into your house. All right. Okay, good question. People who experience, this is from Robert. People who experience sleep paralysis, are they more sensitive to paranormal activity? Is there something special about that?
Sleep
Or
paralysis in the
negative?
sense of something actually causing you to not be able to move, not be able to speak, not to that has
Mhm.
more to do with the intentions of the spirit that's doing it to you. They may be doing it because you're more spiritually sensitive. They may also be doing it for a genetic curse that may have been put on your family. It's everything to do with them doing some kind of either retribution or some kind of dark deed.
So, is it possible for a physical being to, say, manifest enough dark energy that it will cause sleep paralysis?
There have been cases of people being attacked by spell practitioners, magic practitioners that have done that. So that is very possible for something or someone to manifest just that much dark energy to make someone have sleep paralysis.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people that believe that sleep paralysis has to do with aliens coming to try to abduct you.
N- I, I don't.
But I'm
I
gonna,
don't think it's. I don't think it's. I think it's not just it. I think it's a fear. You're having
Yeah,
a fear instilled into you, and it it causes, and because you've possibly never experienced that before, your body doesn't know how to react to it except to physically shut down.
hmm
You know what I mean? And that's the only way it can cope. And when it shuts down,
yeah,
it's like your nervous system is like, no, done.
yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
you have the fight or flight reflex, and then there's a third one to that, which is you have fight, flight, and freeze. And I think maybe that sleep paralysis is partially the freeze aspect of that.
Yeah. So, yeah. Now another question: of something manifesting, right? If you're having sleep paralysis and something's manifesting, the could it leave a lingering odor? Like if it smelled like if it smelled like death, rotting meat, or something like that, and it manifested into your house, would it leave that odor, or would that odor dissipate after it, like
That
right after it
odor
left?
that odor would usually dissipate afterwards. It takes a lot of energy for them to do both an apparition as well as a lingering scent. So it would not, any scent that they would manifest with that apparition would go away quickly after. It would
Right.
not linger around. Like if it wouldn't be like 3 hours later you haven't washed or cleaned anything and it would still smell it. No, if it was a purely manifestation, the smell would go away minutes after.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Rob, I know how you just hopped into the chat. So a little while ago, we were discussing what 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 you told me. And I was kind of being vague, kind of not being vague. Now, you asked me while we were chatting about all the questions about the woods and like stuff like that. There now, I'm going by what you told me. You haven't looked into any of this. So in the, I don't know, last 10 years or so, there's a cryptid that has become extremely popular, and it's called the generic term for it is dogman. It is an upright walking canine. It looks like a damn werewolf standing on two legs.
Mhm.
And numerous reports had them having giant yellow, yellowish green eyes, and they smell like death. Um, they've been known to try to open windows, go in windows. Um, so I'm trying to figure out if the maybe what you when you saw it and it had that odor, maybe when you woke up to that odor, that is what caused you not to be able to move because it put a fear in you because you didn't know where where this smell of death was coming from. Um, so yeah, there's a cryptid out there called the Dog Man. I don't think it was a manifestation, dude. I think something crawled in your damn house and said hello. But we gonna get into that.
Yeah,
We gonna get into it.
it spawns a lot of questions even in my head.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Chaos Theory, what's going
Well,
on?
Hello.
I'll tell you the truth. There's been reports of dogmen turning door handles, opening windows, even like let's say you have like security bulbs around your house, not breaking the bulbs, but twisting them. Like when you put a fresh light bulb in, and like you got to twist it down, then it turns on. Then you could twist it back up a little bit, and it just turns off. And then you could twist it back down and it turns on. That's kind of what they do also.
Hmm.
Guys, I'll be right back, all right?
Oh, can you try your best to describe the war between good and evil? Is this like an epic Spartan battle, everyone fighting at the same time? Uh the war between good and evil. The linchpin of most of that is order versus chaos. The best way I can say it is those who are looking for nothing but to spread their power throughout and to do whatever they want and for selfish gain, and then those who are trying to maintain the order of creation.
Hmm.
For and I guess like to put it on a more familiar front, Jehovah versus Lucifer, and that is a can of worms that I cannot go fully into because of the real stuff that goes on with that. But um, chaos, I get that. Um, but the believe it or not, there are a lot of pantheons of other deities who have chosen to be on Jehovah's side with that war against Lucifer. Um, the ones that I follow said, we are not enemies of Jehovah. We will be on his side, if he calls us to be on that in that war, because there are three main sides to that war of good and evil. The ones that stalwartly fight for good, for order, for life, for chaos, for self gain, for destruction. And then there are those that want nothing to do with it, but usually when push comes to shoves, they have to choose some side or another, or they just have to keep moving away from everything.
Chat. I missed a question from Shell. Hold on, let me go back. Chat screen. No. All right, Shell had a question. Sorry, Shell, I'm just now getting to your question. There were people that told me that there were people that told her and her family at different times that she has had over 2,000 years as an old soul. Is this possible?
It is definitely possible. Shell Ashley. Yeah. You got about $2,000 on your soul so far.
Oh, there you go, sir. You got your answer.
Mm-hmm.
No. All right, so I got a question about different dimensions. Right.
Okay.
When these different dimensions interact with this plane, do some of them have benevolent intent or malevolent intent?
Some of them have malevolent intent. Some of them do have benevolent intent. Usually the ones that have more benevolent intent usually have fewer interactions, but they're more meaningful. Whereas the ones that are more malevolent have more interactions, but they are sometimes mostly like 1,000 cuts rather than one giant gash. Dark Woods. Have I seen the face of God? The form and shape that I know Jehovah to be, I know him as the Lion of Judah. So when I look at him, he is a 30-foot tall at the shoulders lion. That is what I know him as.
See, that's interesting. See, that's interesting. All right. So Chase, I'm gonna ask a question that Chase sent me earlier. Well, he sent me a photo.
Mhm.
Well, not a photo, but like a Google Maps screenshot of this cemetery out in Texas that's basically surrounded by four sides. Like it's between the big thicket, the Sabine River, or Sabine National Forest, and another one. But it's basically surrounded on all four sides. Could there possibly be something in this area that
Okay.
he would encounter that would shock the hell out of him?
Does he want the photo to be shown to be shared?
Yeah. Well, it's just a screenshot. I'll send it to Truth when he comes back.
Okay. In that area.
Yeah, it's a cemetery in the middle of the woods, and it's surrounded basically on all four sides.
Ooh. Those kinds of cemeteries generally have a lot of lingering stuff around there, and it does not surprise me at all if something darker or just something that wants to be far off away but near a cemetery, because a cemetery has bones. A cemetery has grave sand, grave dirt. So if something wants to be there for that kind of reason, it can definitely be there.
Right. So I was telling him, I was like, well, Well, the way you're describing the area, Chase, this is going to be a FAFO incident,
Hmm.
which basically that means fuck around and find out.
Yo, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Shoot.
Sorry.
I'm gonna
Had
send
to
you.
take care of some dad stuff real quick. Sorry.
I'm gonna send you a photo real quick that Chase sent me.
Oh,
So Rock will see it.
right on. Send it
Tall
away.
electric blue.
Uh,
Diane, that sounds like a variety of the tall gray. If you're talking about the tall electric blue aliens, that's not a variant of the tall gray.
Truth, I'm sending it to you now. Boom. Oh, here we go. All right, just sent it to you. I sent it to you through Messenger.
Yeah, Karen. Okay. So you want me to share that?
Yeah, show
Okay.
Ralph.
All right, 1 second. Get to my share screen. Doobie doobie doo. Shooby doobie doo.
Yeah, you can share that. It doesn't give no phone numbers or nothing like that. Yeah.
Shooby doobie doo. Bring it up, pour it on my screen. What? What? All right. It says Carrington Cemetery.
Oh, I think I've heard some spirit activity that went around there sometime. Like some ghost hunters went there and they caught some really gnarly stuff.
So why did Chase want
Can you
that?
make it bigger?
Can I make it bigger?
Yeah.
Oh, 1 second. Hold up. Okay. Give me 2 seconds here. Let me drop it off of the screen. I'll make it bigger in a second. All right. Now, what's the significance of this Carrington Cemetery?
Chase wants to go out there because he is dying to like experience.
You want to go ghost?
He wants to
go
experience
ghost hunting
something.
now?
I don't know if he wants to experience ghosts, demons, or Bigfoot Dogman, but that looks like a good area.
Or speaking of ghost hunting, T from the My Haunted House interview, I talked to her about the. I think we're going to set up a like a live ghost hunt at her house sometime during the summer. So we're going to live stream from her haunted house. That shit's going to be pretty cool.
Just make sure it's not
Mr. Don Johnson said to tell Chase that my stomping ground is in that area. It's very active cryptid-wise and spiritually, too.
Oh, yeah. Shit, I was supposed to go download that picture, right? Give me 2 seconds.
Lunar Eclipse asks, do aliens have a connection with the TH negative factor of the human blood? I've heard a lot of people...
It's me, RH negative.
Oh, I've heard a lot of people trying to ask about the connections between aliens and blood. I have not really done that much looking into. I know it's the most I can think of. If there is connections like that, it's like a vaccine, an inoculation to extraterrestrial viruses and bacteria. Because if you've never been to an area and there's some kind of disease or virus that's just natural there that they are immune to or resistant to, and it doesn't hurt them, but someone else has never been there. It's like someone going to Africa for the first time without getting the inoculations for that.
Okay.
Another
We are
question from chat is Keith King. Why are Fae so powerful? What are they in the scheme of things?
Fae are a very mysterious lot. They are from their own realm of dimension. They have no real stakes in any sense that the rest of creation knows about. They are so powerful because they just seem to have a knack in manipulating the very thing of creation itself. They know how to mess around with it.
so
That's all I can really say.
hey 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 Robert. So if you want, if you're still listening, brother, I'm gonna drop a link in chat. Right, click this link. When it asks you to give access, if you're able to, when it asks you after you click this link, when it asks you to give access to your like audio, like your microphone, camera, whatever, just say yes. It'll bring you right into the stream.
All right, and we have a question from Comiquad. She has seen I've seen tall bird mining people mining. They didn't seem to notice that I could see them. Where are they from, and what were they mining for?
Tall bird people.
The avians? What do they look like?
Yeah, that's what I asked
yeah,
too.
I don't know. That's
yeah,
that's a question.
yeah. You gotta. Can you be a little more specific of what they look like? Because you have like a blue avian extraterrestrial race, and I think a few other different ones. And Rob, here's your wrench, man.
Or did it look like a human form with like the head of a hawk or eagle? Like, or did it look like Big Bird? I don't know.
As
Now,
yeah,
go ahead.
because there have been times when certain spirits of animals would manifest or actually get requested and accepted into having a physical body for a while so that they can do their purpose for it. But
All right.
yeah.
So we're joined by Rob. What's going on, Rob?
Hello.
Same old, same old. Can you hear me on this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got you. We
Yes,
got you
sir.
loud and clear.
Oh, really?
How you been? Yeah, how you been?
All right, can't complain.
So, I kind of like spilled the beans a little bit about what you were telling me earlier, and there's no reason to think you're crazy. Tons of people have
Yeah, believe me when I tell you, when that happened, is the first thing that crossed my mind.
All right, so we're gonna dive into this real quick. We'll give the people a little tidbit of it, and then, if possible, would you want to come on Thursday evening?
Yeah, sure.
And then it'll be me. Bass is my brother Mike. You know Mike, and
Mike.
What's up, Rob?
And
Man.
Ralph is a remote viewer, and he is a very talented remote viewer. So, and he's going to be part of the panel on Thursday when you come on.
10-4.
So, if we could we just give a little tidbit of what you saw with the sleep paralysis what led up to the sleep paralysis and what you saw with the
well, I don't really know.
Hello.
Head up to it is
okay. Well, we'll start.
Like I just remember.
You're kind of breaking up.
It was just weird. Like I was hacked. Oh, sorry. I don't know this 5G shit. Excuse my language.
You're right.
But
you're allowed to curse.
But yeah, just I had fallen asleep on the couch, and I remember like having like a really like strange dream. I was literally running through the woods in my dream, and I was being chased by something in my dream. I had no idea what it was, but it didn't sound friendly. And I had just woke up out of nowhere, and I was on my back. I I could not move. All I could move were my eyes. Like my eyes were open, and I tried to yell for my ex-wife, who was in the other room on the other side of the house, but nothing was coming out. Um, Respiratory was kind of, I was like struggling to breathe a little bit, because I just don't understand, And then when I had looked over into my dining room kitchen area from the couch is where I saw this thing, and
Okay.
it was jet black, like almost like invisible, but I could make out like the vague outline of it, from the silhouette, that was there from the light of like the TV, was still on. And like I'll never ever forget the eyes.
Now,
I could see glinting of
was
light off its teeth, and it's
now,
but
what was your dining room area lit
I had
up?
never been so frightened in my life.
Was
The
your
only
dining room
light
area
that
lit up?
in the house, the only light was from the television.
All right. When
And
when you
that
saw this
was it.
thing, did it move? Did it was it did it look like it was breathing? Did, just explain,
Oh,
just kind of what you saw and what it did.
it was moving, it was breathing, but it wasn't moving very fast. Like it was as if somebody was just standing, like sits like standing there watching you, but like I could see like its chest, I guess, bow in and out from the breathing, like from like the outline that I could see from like the light that was cast from the TV,
Hmm.
like, and just the smell, like the smell was just horrible. Like it was so strong, like I could taste it in the air, if that even makes any sense.
It does. About this smell, how
Like,
long did this smell last? How long was it around?
well, see, the whole thing to me felt like it had only lasted maybe 10 seconds, and then I had in a panic I had closed my eyes, and I had fallen back to sleep, and it felt like I was only asleep after that for maybe 10 minutes, and then I woke back up, and for about 5 or 10 minutes after that I could still smell it in the house.
Okay. Just a quicker circumstance, because I was doing my thing while you were talking about this, listening to about what this thing, what you were explaining, what you're so when you went to sleep, when you closed your eyes and tried to go back to sleep, you were actually out for about an hour. That was like a short power nap. And when you woke up, the smell was there. It was still there for about like 5 to 10 minutes. Yes.
Yeah. So the
Yeah,
the smell lingered for well over an hour.
Okay.
but I don't know how long it was. Like I said, I felt like I had only been asleep 5-10 minutes. I don't know how long I was out.
Okay. All right. One thing I also want to ask, like, did you notice if it was doing anything with its arms? Were they just hanging there, or were they doing something with it?
No, they were just kind of down to the side, like just kind of standing, just staring at me.
Mhm.
Okay. What kind of posture could you make out? What kind of posture it had? Was it like leaning forward? Did it look like it was kind of like hunched?
Slouched, slouched, like kind of hunched over, like it was getting ready to lurch.
So how tall were the ceilings in that house that you were in?
8 foot.
Okay. How close was how close would you say the head was to the ceiling? Because you said it was in kind of in a slouch position. So if you had
Um,
8 foot ceilings, how close was the head on a slouch?
it was a good probably. Man, I want to guess maybe a foot below the ceiling, and still slouched,
So all
but
right. So this thing, whatever it was, possibly over
way
way
taller than I was. Should I say?
Um,
stood
I,
stood straight up. It was probably well over 8 feet tall. So could you make
So yeah,
out? Could you make out? All right. So we're gonna go to this way. When you saw this thing, did you get a sense of it being maybe like it was spiritual, or maybe that like it gave off a physical presence?
oh no, it was certainly physical, and definitely like threatening.
See now you're getting why I was asking about where this happened. Are you
Yeah.
close to the woods? Um, did you have any windows or doors? And what now? Are you were you, at that time? Were you in the habit of locking your doors?
No,
And you
like
said
I usually don't lock my doors. Like, I know that sounds weird, especially this day and age, but I usually don't. Well, not before I had a kid. I left my doors unlocked all the time.
well,
okay.
you're 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 in Florida. This is Southwest Florida, right?
Yeah.
Right. We don't need to get into real specifics of it. And now the wooded area that you live next to, is it like just like some woods, or is it like maybe like state park area or something like that?
there there is like a state park, like I'd say about a half a mile or so from the house that I lived in when that happened. And the wooded area near the house, was pretty dense, thick, full of palmetto bushes and things like that. And during rainy season, it turns into a literal swamp.
All right. So I don't know if you heard me. I don't know if you heard it in heard me before. There's a cryptid called Dogman.
Right.
These things are. I'm gonna see if I can find a good picture and bring it up on the screen. You're able to look at your screen or whatever I have up right now, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
Sophie,
it's
come.
become popular, really popular in the last few years, and the reports are that people are seeing upright walking canines that some of them resemble hyenas, some of them resemble uh, giant timber wolves that are standing up on their back legs. So when you saw this thing, could you make out the leg structure? What did it have, like hocks like a normal dog?
like as far as like
Like
the
if you
the knee at the knees for sure. I could tell that the knees were bent like backwards, opposite, ours.
okay.
All right.
So let me see. I'm gonna bring up this thing here. Where's this list at? Okay. So we're gonna bring this up. Save this image. You guys, any questions for him while I'm loading the summary
Uh,
up?
One thing I want to ask is has he heard like any noises in the woods around him, like say
Well,
like
well,
like maybe hearing
this
a
happened 10 years. This happened 10 years ago.
okay.
Well, to answer your question, like I told James earlier that you know even after that had happened, like I kind of for a long time, since then I had like felt like I was being like watched, like if I like going outside at night, like in the dark, maybe just sometimes I used to go for walks at night just because it was calm, nice, and everything, like just a feeling of, like I said, being watched. And there was a couple of instances where like I would hear things coming from the woods, like something walking, not like toward me, but like maybe like I want to say like parallel to me, like I don't know how to really explain it other than just fear, and all I could do was run, like immediately, just the feeling of being watched, and then hearing twigs and branches snapping and breaking. And there were a couple of times where I've actually heard what I thought may have been a rather large animal, maybe breathing or grunting, and I just take off as fast as I could. Being a grown ass man afraid of the dark, I've never talked about this. It's
Yeah,
you.
I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, man. But you know what? The best therapy is to get it out there. You know what I mean? Like, like I said, like I told you when we were chatting earlier, and that me and Mike had an experience where we had some missing time, and it as we grew older and started talking about it more and more and more, I became comfortable with it, and it opened up so many other doors into so many other things. You know what I mean?
Holy
So don't
shit.
what happened? Hearing some
Take
shit?
take type 3 variant 2 and give it wide open yellow eyes, and that, holy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like that, like if it was in like pitch dark and all I could make out, it would be that, just not as bright, like like
uh,
the amount of light being cast on it.
yeah,
And seeing something like similar to that in inside my house, and I can't move, I can't scream, I can't do nothing.
So
Yeah.
my I got a theory on why you couldn't move. So we've already we established that you didn't, like, you slept with the doors unlocked, which is it's not an uncommon practice. People do that all the time. I think that whatever this thing was and the smell it was giving off, right? When you finally when it finally registered in your nostril that that something that smell was there, I think it caused like a like Ralph said earlier, fight, flight, or what was the third one, Ralph?
Fight, yeah, freeze.
Freeze. I think it caused a freeze reaction in you, and you woke. When you woke up, that reaction you couldn't move because you something instinctual told you something was wrong, something was off, and then you look over and you see this thing sitting there staring at you. I I, I generally think, man, that you're a legit fucking dogman witness, man. Like this cryptid came into your house because if it was a manifestation, that smell wouldn't have lingered like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the feeling of being watched while you're in the woods and you hearing something grunting and the twigs breaking and everything like that. That to me is that I believe you saw a cryptid and it wasn't a manifestation. Something came into your home, and when your body registered it, your body shut down.
I think part of his encounter was in his dreams, because there are definitely supernatural connections with these animals, with these entities, and maybe that first part was him having that dream being chased in the woods. Maybe it was in some way chasing him in those woods, and then, or maybe another one was chasing him in those woods in his dream, and then he woke up to find that one in his house.
So, now you said you had took off one time running out of the woods after hearing something, right?
Right.
Maybe that that dream where you were being chased by something, maybe that was just like a manifestation of events that really happened, and maybe you like consciously or subconsciously kind of blocked that out and it just came through in the dream, and it just so happened that the night you were having that dream, big ass thing standing in your fucking kitchen.
Yeah, like after I heard, the like things in the woods and stuff, and the feeling of being watched, like my first thought process was like, okay, I saw this crazy thing in my dream slash kitchen, when I woke up, and what if this thing, knows I saw it, and what if I wasn't supposed to see it, and now it's like,
It's
kind of stalking me.
it's narrowed in on you.
You know what I mean? Like that, like, I don't know. I thought about like so much crazy. I'm not even going to use the word crazy anymore, because apparently I'm not the only one.
You're
But,
not, man. Seriously,
like,
you are not crazy at
like,
all, bro.
just like kind of, wondering like, what if I wasn't supposed to see this thing and I did, and now that I saw it, like, what if, like, now it's kind of, following me, wherever I go, because I've moved 3 different times since then, and even in my current house, like,
Are you still in Florida?
yeah,
So,
like, I'm not
and
very far from where this first happened. I moved about maybe 4 miles from where it first happened.
Yeah,
all
that
right,
is
so
nothing when it comes to these things territory.
yeah, I'm gonna let you in on something about these things. Their travel area can be miles. Like 4 miles as the crow flies is like me walking from my bedroom to the bathroom for them.
Right.
So if this thing was now the question, you've never like taken a shot at anything in the woods or anything like that?
Say that again.
You never like took a pot shot or at anything in the woods, anything like that?
No.
So I wonder why it became fixated on you. Because if you've only moved with only within 4 miles of the initial house where it happened, dude, that thing would be it it would be pretty easy to track you if it had your scent. You know what I mean?
Right.
And go ahead, Rob.
I would say I just want to say, like, as a consolation, and this is may just be me and my weirdness, but for me, these animals, these people, these entities, they are not as worrisome to me in my own opinions compared to like Sasquatch or even some of the worst things that could be found in the woods. So, like, a dogman is not necessarily the worst thing that you could have encountered. Like, if that's any consolation.
So now there has. So I'm going to point you in the direction of video. There's a gentleman who where the hell was it? It was down in Florida. Where the hell was it? Bash, you might not remember. He caught a dogman creature dart from one side of the camera to another side. And when I find the link to this video, I'm going to send it to you. But
Oh yeah, you talking about?
I think I've seen that where it's like transparent almost.
It darts behind a telephone pole.
Underneath the light pole.
Yeah, it's not transparent, man. That's how fast them things are.
Right, but it looks that way, and then the gentleman like slams the door and is like, "Nope, X that. Nope."
Yeah, that was called peaceful fire.
Because I started looking up those things after I had seen that, and I think I've seen that video.
So, yeah, I generally think that you had a legit dogman encounter because there have been numerous accounts where these things have entered people's homes. I'm glad it didn't turn out the way some of these reports turn out, but nonetheless, to see something like that. So, all right. So I got a question. Its hands or claws. Could you make those out? Were they? Because there's, If you could you make those out? Because I have a description of one, and if it's a description, man, you definitely had a fucking encounter.
It's I'm trying like my hardest to like search for like details in the image I still have in my head, and I mean all I could really see was just like kind of like the glinting off of what I assume were nails, claws, whatever you want to describe them as. But I can tell you that the space between like the glints off of each one, it was rather very large for a hand or a paw or whatever they have.
So you saw it in, you said, your dining room, right?
Yeah, dining room, kitchen.
Was there a door in that area leading to the outside?
Yeah, my front door. Like as soon as you opened the front door, you walked into like a little area between the living room and dining room area there.
Okay, so kind of like a foyer type deal.
Kinda, yeah.
One question that I'll ask, like, if you noticed that if there were any little scuff marks on your front on the porch that led to that door or to the kitchen or anything like stuff that you might not think was anything to do with anything, but just little scuff marks that you noticed from the days after that maybe even you thought was just from your boots getting scraping on the front porch or whatnot.
Not that I can think of. I wasn't really looking or anything like that because like I had said, like I thought at first that I was going nuts and that like I had, you know, imagined something, so I ignored it for, you know, the longest time until like, you know, the images from what I saw like would literally, you know, kind of, you know, come back and like haunt me, you know, like years later. Like I still to this day, like I'll wake up and my wife, you know, she'll be like, what's the matter with you? Like I'll wake up in like cold sweats and like I still haven't told her nothing about it. Because, you know, she'd be like, you're crazy. You were just imagining things, you know, she doesn't, you know,
So yeah,
I don't know.
dude. So I hate to break this to you, but welcome to the world of Dogman. And sir, you might um
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like I've asked myself, like, you know, am I like sensitive to like these sort of things? Because the sleep paralysis thing happened to me twice, and both times were different. Like the first time was what I would call a werewolf. You know what I mean? Dog man, whatever you want to call him. And you know, the second time, you know, was, you know, look like a person, you know, peeking their head, you know, at me from, you know, my nightstand next to my bed, and like so pale, it was almost like they were glowing, like, but all I could see was like from the chin up, like this like evil smile, and like the eyes looked like just two dark holes with just little pin dots of like light, like almost like the reflection, you know, off an eyeball or something. Like, and I did the exact same thing. Like I just like saw it, I knew it was there, it was looking dead at me, and like all I could do was close my eyes and start counting and hoped that I, you know, would fall back to sleep, and that if I opened my eyes it wouldn't be there again. But this time, like, I opened my eyes again and it was still there, and like I had to do it all over again, and finally fell back to sleep and woke up, you know, again, you know, what felt like 10 minutes later, you know, it was gone and I could move again. Like,
So Roth,
Yeah.
the description of that head and face, that sounds a bit like a pale crawler, maybe a rake.
I
I don't know.
hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, dude. No. I don't even know what to say about that one, man.
like I've never heard of those things that you just said, a pale crawler or a rake.
Yeah.
A pale crawler is a very dark cryptid that it looks like if you take someone in like a white skin suit, stretch them out, but made them incredibly muscular, but still very thin, and then gave them like these huge talons. The weirdest way I could call it, and this like just because I know that a lot of people know movies or video games. If you know what a licker is from the Resident Evil series, have you ever seen the Resident Evil movies or anything like that?
Yeah.
The thing with a big tongue, think of that, but incredibly uh, pale and white looking, and then it doesn't have that huge mouth.
Share screen. All right, so
Yeah.
Rob, I'm about to bring up a window here. Let me know if. Wait a minute, did I share it to the thing yet? No, did I? Oh, we're streaming. I'm not in. Boom, it's right there. Share it to it.
Ugh.
What? Would you just get the heebie-jeebies, Ralph?
Yep.
No, none of those look like what I saw next to my nightstand. It just looked like a person's face with just like
So
an
like a
evil,
normal. So,
yeah, like with just like an evil smile and their eyes just kind of like dark black holes with just pin drops of light in it.
like, did it have hair on the head? Did it have
Oh,
what? Did something catch your eye?
yeah, kind of. In this series of pictures you have here, kind of like that bottom right one right there with the hand, but
This
Oh,
one?
obviously without the hand, all I would see was the face. Yeah, that one. That would be the closest I could. Yeah, that's
That's the closest one.
the closest.
And it was
Except,
and pale. Pale. Did it
yeah,
have hair? Like, did it have a nose?
it had long hair, like draped, like kind of down the side of its head, and I couldn't see teeth, just the smile, and the eyes were more sunken in, and like the glint on those eyes there are very close, but there were no, you couldn't see the whites of the eye. It was just like black holes.
yeah. That's that's. Ugh.
And I didn't know if like maybe I was just like sensitive to like these kinds of things, because like even when I was a kid, Jay, I don't know if you remember the big 2-story yellow house that I used to live in by Stewart's there.
Yep.
In that house, up on the second floor, like my sister used to, at the top of the stairs in that house, my sister used to, she used to sleep in that like loft area because it was close to the bathroom. And, she had issues, as a little kid with, wet in the bed. Don't ever tell her I said that. And me and my mom, or should I say my grandma, I grew to call her mom. We would hear, running up and down the stairs, and, we thought it was my sister, just staying up all night or whatever, because my brother and I used to share a room, so it wasn't him. And one night, me and mom, we got up and we get to the loft area, where my sister was, and she was in the bed. Now we both looked down the stairs, and at the bottom of the staircase was like this little girl just standing there, but there was nothing from the knees down, and we could see like straight through her, and there was a like faint giggle, and she just disappeared, and we had never seen it again. But we would still hear the running up and down the stairs at night.
I think your family may have had some kind of spiritual resonance going on at that time, and maybe because I want to hear the full interview. That's hopefully upcoming Thursday, because it sounds like you have a very interesting history with sometimes strange things, even if you may not have realized something was going on.
Oh yeah, dude, we are going to.
I don't know.
So so Rob, I'm gonna let you know. Me and Mike, we asked some questions that'll make you think. All right, so be prepared Thursday to have your brain scrambled a little bit.
Well, just don't scramble them too much, because I've messed them up quite a bit here.
No. We're gonna dive into this, and we're gonna really like. Don't worry, we'll be gentle. But I gotta get into this dogman setting even more because, ladies and gentlemen, if, like I said, this is the first time he's talked about this to anybody. Like, he just started talking to me about it earlier today. So we are going.
Yeah, when I saw your video earlier, I was like, "Holy crap!" Huh?
Yep. So we're gonna bring Rob back on Thursday evening. So, but for now, we're gonna have to cut it short because I gotta be to work at like 3:30 in the morning.
All right.
So, Rob, thank you for hopping on and giving us a little tidbit, because Thursday we're going to dive deeper into this. Rothian, thank you for joining us. For a great interview. Chat, you guys are amazing with the questions, as always. I didn't see any hot pockets in there this evening, so that went pretty well. But then again, it's all moderators in there. Everybody's got wrenches. So we are going to cut it short. Rob, if you want to just hang around a little bit, hang around for a few minutes. I'm about to end this.
Sure.
All right. So everybody, we will be here Thursday. Rob, what time would be good for you Thursday? What, like 9:30?
Yeah, that'll work. That'll give me plenty of time to get home and take care of the youngin' and do what I got to do. And
okay, so definitely. So we'll set it up for 9:30. That's 9:30 Eastern, everybody. Right, so come join us. We will be interviewing Rob about his dogman encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you guys for joining us this evening. You guys want to say bye to everybody?
I thank everyone for joining on. I realized that for a long time I was merely words in the chat room, but I finally, gotten enough courage and gotten enough of a go ahead to start, giving you guys, everyone, I'm basically here to help everyone out, because I know that the world's just going to feel a lot crazier, but for me, it's going to feel a lot more normal.
And Ralph, you're always welcome to the channel, man. Always welcome on. Any panel, like any interesting panel we do, you are on. So you gotta send me an actual email so I can save you in my email, so I don't have to drop streaming.
I will do that.
Okay. Bash, you want to say anything?
No.
What?
No.
Oh, okay. What are you sleeping?
No, I'm not sleeping. I am sitting here silent, though. The sun put my ass.
All right, everybody. So we will see you Thursday night at 9:30. Remember, come join us. Good night, everybody.
All right.